super bright on the radar. Still having a touch of downlight, you can hear them. But it's pretty good. Some of them will have the bell, some of them will have a whistle, and some of them will even have a call. Right-hand side, we're getting a nice view of Cushing Island. And out toward the tip of the island, kind of amongst those trees right there, you can see a stone-pillared gazebo. That structure kind of speaks to the island's history. Cushing Island today is private, but this actually used to be a resort island. Back in the mid-1800s, this island was purchased by a wealthy Canadian named William Cushing. And of course, and then you go over the north side, said to be the height of Victorian vacation of the night, called the Ottawa. The Ottawa House has beautiful grounds, all divided by the left Frederick Law Olmsted. In fact, that little stone pillared gazebo that you saw, one of the three that remain on the island of the original Olmsted landscape design. Now, the Ottawa House brought a lot of tourism out to this island, but unfortunately, it was quite flammable. See, the Ottawa House Hotel burned to the ground in 1888. That's all right. They rebuilt it larger and grander the second time around. Now it was 5 stories tall instead of 3. The structure was so large that you could see it all the way from Portland. You don't see it over there anymore, because guess what? It burned down again in 1917. And at that point, there were enough private homes that had kind of grown up around the resort that the residents decided to keep it their own private paradise. Mr. Hayes could afford it. He's actually one of the 10 wealthiest men in the country. The proprietor and owner of the Grand Trunk Railroad, which ran from Portland up to Montreal. Kind of actually had a monopoly on a lot of freight coming out of Canada. Not to be confused with the Grand Trunk Railroad, that would come many years later, but instead the Grand Trunk. Now, Charles Hayes did not get to enjoy his summer home for very long, because in 1912 he was over in Europe having a railway conference, and he decided to book passage back to the States on a brand new steamship, ship of the line of the White Star Line. Unfortunately for Mr. Hayes, that was the RMS Titanic. He did not survive the sinking. He was last seen holding women and children using lifeboats. However, his wife and his daughters were found in the spot. Did make a run out to Cushing on a charter, and I've always lamented never being up the area, never being able to touch the island or anything. So Owen was nice enough to run up to the very top of the ramp there and grab me a rock. And he goes, "Don't tell anyone, but here's your own piece of Cushing Island." It's definitely little things, but each island having their own unique history. So much fun to explore and in that country. But each island too has their own kind of color, if you will, or the community that they're. This is House Island off to your left. Now, House Island bears Fort Scammell. This was one of the ones, this is one with the high cannon forts on its other side that matched fire with a couple across the way. But Fort Scammell off to your left actually has two different cannon bastions. We were looking at the west cannon bastion earlier. This coming up is our east cannon bastion. And it may look like the two halves of this fortification were built into the side of the hill. Not quite the case. House Island used to be rather flat, and this beautiful work of masonry is one large structure that stretches the entire width of the island. So the two sides are connected with a bunch of arched tunnels, and you can actually run side to side. You can see a couple people out there kind of perusing around the fort, because these days Fort Scammell is actually a glamour campground, or a glamp ground. So you can see there's a yurt on the island, a couple of yurts, a couple of tents right there. You can see folks camping out there cool style. These are nice views. Tourism really does have to be on the center of the island. That was a Los Angeles staff and doctors who live out here on the island. And finally, the big boxy tan building out toward the tip of the island, that was the cabin class detention center, where you would wait if your paperwork needed further processing before being cleared to go on to the main. Yeah, it seems a lot nicer than Ellis Island, yeah. A little bit slower pace too, I think, up here. It was funny, I think about 3 years ago, I was talking about this island, and somebody raising her hand and said, grandparents came through here. They go, we knew they came through Maine, we had no idea where. Beautiful little island. This island on the right-hand side is called This island is the most populous island here in Castle Bay, with about 950 around residents. Thousands. Every day of the summer, visitors come out here 17 times daily. I can't help but be distracted. See that restaurant right there with the blue and white awning? That's John's favorite restaurant out on Peaks Island. And just yesterday in that storm, that awning and roof blew away. So it's temporarily closed. But yeah, Peaks Island, this is the area known as Down Front. John, I guess now you're going to have to go to the Cockeyed Gull, one of my favorite restaurants here on Peaks Island. There's a gray building there off to your right, and there's a little deck with some green and red umbrellas. That's Cockeyed Gull, great little bar and restaurant right there. That is attached to the island's only grocery store, that big gray building right there. That is Hannigan's Island Market. Hannigan's is the only grocery store on Peaks Island, and they know it, because their slogan happens to be Hannigan's. If we don't have it, you don't need it. We can proudly understand it all. Riding around the yeah. Yeah, if you live out on an island, you either have a golf cart or you have what's called an island car. And island cars are pretty vehicle don't pass Maine State inspection on the mainland anymore. They can get barged and ferried out to these islands, and they're able to live out the rest of their days in peace or in pieces, whichever comes first. Because you need exactly two things for a vehicle to be legal on the island. You have headlights and you have brakes. Aside from that, we fall apart. Quite a mouthful down in Rhode Island. Small boat, and you see a couple of them on the mooring balls. All those big white balls in the water that you see attach to large mushroom anchors at the bottom. So you paddle or row or a little outboard mooring. I have that little boat on the mooring, think about that, and off the left-hand side. Those will typically have larger boats on them, but they're out having fun on a nice Saturday on the bay. Yeah, with the season and the tides and all that, it's rather difficult for us here. We've got a huge tide duration there, between 9 to 12 feet difference between high and low tide. So, you know, and pier space is kind of at a premium, and typically you over to get to take them out the winter time. So a lot of folks just avoid that hassle and just run the mooring there. Off the left-hand side, we're coming from the Diamond Island. We just passed by on the left Diamond Island. Now we're coming up on the right Diamond Island. Somewhere in the waters around us is the wreck of the USS Red, ever at the bottom of the bay. Really kind of unique cloud cover right here. I actually personally kind of like it. I mean, you know, anyone can get beautiful photos of this. I think it's like a movie sky over an island. Yeah, a little bit more special. They're looking at the coast right now. You'll see a whole lot of operators and you'll see a whole bunch of them around the city building. Sometimes wondering a little more as we go along. But yeah, excellent observation.